Okay, so here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglosh for the Wisconsin DMA and the International Society for Strategic Marketing. Let's see what we got over here for today. Let's go over to see the millions of genetically modified mosquitoes to be released in Florida. You probably didn't hear this on any other news show. And this is from a week or two ago, but it just happened to cross my paths. A UK-based company plans to purposefully release hundreds of millions of genetically modified mosquitoes into Florida. And down in the article, it has, what could possibly go wrong? I love that. I love that phrase, Keep calm and stay indoors. I mean, it's a good time to try this, I think. Everybody's indoors, no mosquitoes around. Good morning, Phoenix. And so this this insect combating company, Oxitec, created, sounds like that OxyClean. Anyway, male mosquitoes modified so that all of its offspring die before hatching. Okay? An alternative to spraying mosquitoes. And the project has been seeking approval for more than 10 years, according to CNN. I almost did the CNN report. I had science news. It's covered all over the place in your typical marketing programs. Area residents and environmental advocacy groups are horrified. What could possibly go wrong? And we don't know, because the EPA unlawfully refused to seriously analyze the environmental risks. Now, without further review of the risks, the experiment can proceed. And the reason I wanted to talk about this article is, what a great country we live in. What a great country that will willingly unleash GMO mosquitoes on our own selves to solve a big problem and make a buck. And the hard part for me is, I used to be an environmentalist. I had an earth flag on my patch on my Army jacket in high school, and we had Gaylord Nelson over to our house one time for dinner, and I was a huge environmentalist. I was opposing freeways and all kinds of stuff in my youth. But here we got people opposing DDT, which actually is fairly safe, and probably tens of millions of people have died because of that temporary ban. It's been lifted in most places. We got this, problem with malaria and mosquitoes, and people think, well, that's just an African problem. But there were big malaria outbreaks in Philadelphia and some other places back in the 1900s. So, or is it the 1800s? The 19th century, the 1800s. Anyway, back a while ago, back before I was around. Anyway, so here we got this big problem with malaria, and we got a way to fix it. Just tweak the little males and make them not so productive. And, everybody's happy. The females are happy, but their babies don't hatch, so they're not so happy. But they leave anyway, Anyway, so the potential for our technology to do so is unmatched, and this EPA approval will allow us to make first steps toward making it available in the U.S. So anyway, in America, we solve a big problem. The environmentalists should be happy, but as we all know, there's unforeseen consequences, and that's one of the challenges. Okay, now let's march over to Burger King. Burger King is reimagining restaurant experience during the pandemic. Well, not really during the pandemic, unless this thing goes on into 2021. They're remodeling, they're rethinking their restaurant format. And as it happens, I was in a Burger King yesterday for an Impossible Burger. I eat those on fast days, on vegan days. And man, oh man, I asked them for extra stuff, and it was all over me. It was really fun. If you're going to try an Impossible Burger, make sure to get extra stuff, because they're kind of dry. They overcook them, and it needs extra mayo and pickles. And I put some jalapenos on there. I didn't even know Burger King offered that. So anyway, the Impossible Burger was great, but they have, this is what Burger King looks like near me. They got chairs all over the place. The restrooms are closed. The seating is closed. And their entire priority is the drive-through. So if you walk in, Nobody wants to talk to you. So you stand there for a while. And it's just not so great. So now they're going to redesign it so you got more room for cars and less room for people, it looks like to me. Although they do have some seating up above here. But you have to go up the stairs, unless there's an elevator. Maybe there is for old guys who don't like stairs. I'm not sure if there's a kitchen. It doesn't look like it, but maybe it's in the back. And over to the side, which you can't see, this side. Over to the side, there's awnings where you can order on your phone and just sit there and wait for it to come. At the Burger King last night, we ate outside, but there wasn't even trash cans to put your junk in. So good luck, but that brings us to another point. Okay, customer churn. How to reduce customer churn by Sonika Mehta. If your customers are unhappy, they will stop doing business with you. Now, I take issue with that very first phrase. That isn't true at all. In fact, after United dragged a doctor off their flight, literally dragged him off the plane, I don't remember why. I just remember watching the video. And they also banned a peacock companion animal from flying. And they just, were abusing people over and over. Guess what? Ticket sales went up. We knew that they knew how to deal with those ruffians. And I don't know why they went. You know why they went up? Because they're flying to where you want to go, when you want to go, for the price you want to pay. Okay? Here's the kicker in churn. And you got to think about this, Sonika. Churn only happens if they can opt for competitors. If the annoyance of leaving you is lower than the benefit of going. That's the formula for churn. Okay? Got it? So banks learned many, many decades ago that people who use their checking account more often are less likely to leave. Does that mean they like you? No. I use my checking account. I got automatic withdrawals. I got this and I got that and I got transfers and I got it connected to my financial portfolio and all this other junk, okay, that I've opted in for to connect up. I can't leave my checking account. I don't think I could leave if I wanted to. I mean, I could just close it and see what happens. It would be fun. But you see the implication here. Nobody goes to the alternative Department of Motor Vehicles. Do you get good service? Not that really much. Although in Wisconsin, I have to say they've really improved it. Now they have this big pen that just stay in. Yeah, they put the kids in the pen in the cages. No, it's just a big like auditorium, and they even have kind of like TV, but it's not real TV. I wish it were. And they tell you, and then they've got a bank of debt. And so rather than staying in a long queue, they have you like mixed up and you can sit there comfortably. And I think there's even Wi-Fi. So what else you got to do, right? And then they call your number, and when you come in, you get a number and they get asked what you want. And so kind of where to go. I remember being in the farm implement line. It was very short, not realizing that when I wanted my license plate renewed, that was not the right line unless I had a combine or some kind of other farm implement machinery. So if all you have to do to fix churn is make sure they can't leave. If they're chained to a wall, they will not go. Simple. And I have a friend who sells banking technology, and they have worked with huge banks that got in trouble for, my bank. If I'm overdrawn, and I have lots of money in the bank there, but one account might be overdrawn because maybe I don't have overdrawn protection like the checking account, or I have a little PayPal account that money keeps adding up in it. I don't quite know why, but anyway. But it didn't used to. I used to have like $1 in there, so I thought if anybody stole it, it would get covered. And one time I bought a cell phone back in the day for $1, but it had like an extra little charge on it. So it was like $1.20, and I only had $1 in the PayPal account. And they took the money out, and I got an overdraft. And the bank issued a letter to me. It was $50. It was $10, which caused another overdraft, which generated another letter. And by the time I even got the first letter and gave them a call, I had at least $50 worth of charges. It turned out to be a much more expensive little cell phone than I expected. So, did I leave? No, they fixed it. It all came out happy. But the point is that my friend sells these add-on tools to have customers get a debit card, incentives for using the debit card. The key is if it isn't easy to change, then you won't have much churn. So the cell phone companies used to have penalties. They'd have long contracts. You'd have to pay for your phone if you left. They had all kinds of reasons to keep you. And then the other cell phone companies said, hey, nuts to that. We'll give you $500 to leave. See how that equation changed? Okay, it may be terrible to leave. You may have to break a contract. You may have to get in all kinds of trouble, give your beloved phone back. But the other cell phone might be offering to cover those charges. Now it's painless. They have attorneys standing by to get you out of your contract. It's like you hear ads for, we'll get you out of your timeshare. Okay. People don't get out of those. Why? Because it's hard to get out of them. Okay. So all of the rest of this article, it just depends on your competitive situation. You've got to assess that risk. I'm not saying you should chain your customer, or you even can. But you need to think about how your service is compared to others. It's not just an equation where let's do everything we can to help our customers. And I told you the story about we had a money back 100% guarantee on imprinted merchandise. And after a couple of years, the customer service people came back to me and they said, hey, could you change our guarantee? Because we're getting weird, we're getting people that misspelled their own company name on the imprint and want it back, or accidentally ordered 500 of some that they thought they were only ordering 50, or some other dumb thing. They said, sometimes it's their fault. We don't have to stand behind every dumb thing people do. And it's not fair to our good customers to just let this go on. So there's a balance. Sometimes you want to make it harder on the customers that are abusing things. Land's End told me years ago, there are some customers, we worked with another men's apparel group, that some customers repeatedly order, wear out the stuff, send it back, want full refund, because that's the guarantee. And those are not customers you want to mail again. So in our modeling system, we like to take into account the returns and a handling charge, which makes some customer segments negative margin. It automatically selects them out of the recontact process, something valuable. That's one thing, because churn is a little like bass tournaments. And if you don't know anything about bass tournaments, I'll explain. With bass tournaments, you get to count like the biggest 5 fish you catch. Okay? So bass tournament boats have great live wells. They keep the fish perky in the live well, and most of it they all get released anyway, I think. And so you catch your first 5 fish, and maybe they're kind of small. Do you stop? Do you go turn them in? No. You go fish more. Maybe you catch a lunker. Guess what happens? You put the lunker in the live well, you throw the smallest one out. Customer churn is also kind of helpful to get rid of the unprofitable customers and add more profitable customers. That's why my clinic, where I go, always says, "Oh, John, your appointment's coming up. Thank you for joining us. We'd like to welcome you as a new customer." And what that means is they're going to charge me like $500 extra for nothing because I'm a new customer, except I've been going to that clinic for, 30 years at least. And I call them up. I say, "I'm not a new customer." "Well, you haven't been here in a year and a half. At 18 months, we reset your account." "Yeah, I know. And you charge me $500 for that." "Stop it." "Okay, sorry." Anyway, they're just doing that because the new customers will pay more. They're younger people. They're making more money. Us old guys watch our pennies. Anyway, so this dynamic of customers is an ongoing process, an ongoing churn. Go to my YouTube channel, look for RFM, and you'll see about the bathtub model. Some customers it's okay to let them go down the drain. I'm John Miglash. Thanks for joining. Like and share. Your friends will know you're smart. Have a great day. Bye-bye.